Hello everyone, I'm Alex and this is Rupert from Business Growth Bureau. Thank you very much for joining us. Like in our usual Q&A series, what we do is we put questions out there into our clients and potential clients of ours and actually ask some of the biggest challenges they face with inside their business. And one of the things that comes back to us quite a lot is people not giving enough time for marketing campaigns or certain campaigns in their companies to actually compound out. We call it the snowball effect. And what we wanted to do is actually put a really quick video together for you, to give you some golden nuggets and actually about what's the importance of allowing campaigns to compound out and actually kind of ferment and grow and develop, and also why it could actually be holding you as a business back. So to start with, if we talk about the importance of actually a structured process to start with, now obviously we've got our social selling blueprint, which comprises of three main components, which is lead generation, prospect nurturing and sales optimization. But if we could just talk about what is the importance of an actual structure behind your marketing efforts?
The structure is everything really, and it's also very important to understand the difference between different types of marketing. So for example, if you were to advertise on Google or Facebook through a pay-per-click type campaign, the results tend to be pretty well instantaneous. But equally, guess what? When you switch it off, also everything just drops away instantaneously. Having said that, a result is just a click. And clicks could be someone just going through to your website.
It's not even a true inquiry then?
No, I mean, it obviously...
clicks on Google can sometimes be anywhere from 20-30p, but all the way up to, say, £50-60, right? That's $75 or so.
That's right. So, you know, it's very easy to burn through cash very quickly. So the benefits and drawbacks actually more sort of balance each other out. The thing is that with what we're talking about through using social media or say through LinkedIn, it takes a little bit of time to compound out, because when you do things, you have to work within safe operational limits within, say, LinkedIn. Because if you obviously go out spamming loads of people, it's the best way to have your account shut down. And it's really, really about what you class as the compound effect. Now, what happens is a lot of people, when they're doing this stuff, is they will actually give up just as things are starting to build up and happen. And obviously that's just a tragic mistake.
And it essentially leaves money on the table. Now, obviously, just to emphasise what we've just said there, is that with things like campaign through LinkedIn, you can't go out with this all guns blazing approach. Things do take time, people do take time to message back, and so on and so forth. And you have to give things time to actually a bit of time to ferment and actually grow and develop.
And that's exactly it. Obviously, we talk a lot about following through a six-step process, and obviously if you join one of our webinars or we have a strategy session, we'll explain a lot more of that. But in effect, you can actually get some reasonable results quite quickly. But let's say, for example, you were reaching out to, say, 500 people a month on LinkedIn, and you were doing things in the right way, following our proper process. Then obviously by the time you got to month 6, that means you've reached out to 3,000 people. But by the end of month 2, you've only reached out to 1,000. Now, obviously, you can't just do things in one step, because you'd be just leaving money on the table. You wouldn't really have got anywhere with it. So it's very important to follow things through, do things the right way, following our proper process. So this is why the money is really in the long game. Or imagine a snowball. A snowball starts with by being very small, but then it gets to a tipping point where it suddenly starts to grow in size and momentum, and it becomes almost unstoppable. And if it's going down a hill, and this is basically what we're talking about here. Now, it doesn't mean to say you need to wait terribly long. For example, one of our clients managed to get £30,000 or £40,000 worth of $40,000 worth of business in the first 10 days of working with us. Equally, someone else got their entire investment back within the first 6 to 8 weeks of a whole 12-month campaign. So it can happen very quickly, but more typically the money's in the long game. So it's more typical, for example, especially if you've got a very high value product or service, where you're trying to sell something which might be $20, $30, $50,000 or pounds, going up to $250,000 or so, the lead time on that can be quite long, so having to deal with multiple stakeholders. And in that scenario, it may be that you quit just as the point at the time when people are warming up and wanting to really engage with you. And, for example, in another case, we've got a client that's received a massive 7-fold return on investment from a 12-month campaign in the first 10 months. So this illustrates the importance of giving things time.
Yeah, no, I understand. And the important things with it as well is that, like you've mentioned, you don't want to be leaving money on the table. Now, We do have an entire video devoted around actually what does a process look like. So we've got 7 transformational steps to success. It's available on our website. There's also we've got a free webinar that ties into that very well. It gives you all the 7 parts where we actually discuss this as well. So the snowball effect is actually the back end of this as well. So once you've got the process in place, how do you keep that going? Something that's really important to actually talk about is the importance of drip feeding content and value into the market. A lot of people that we speak to feel like they do scattergun approach. They go hard at it, say 1-2 days a week, and then think I've got no result. Whereas what you need to think is, how do I exist online? How do I continuously exist online, and how do I constantly be in the front of people's faces? And what would be a good way of doing that, do you think?
Well, obviously you've got, I mean, we're very fortunate because there's never been a better time. We've got some of the best tools in the toolbox available for free or very, very low cost in terms of business terms. So obviously you have got things like Instagram, Facebook, you've got Twitter and all these things. And if you're pushing content there, that's absolutely great. In the case of LinkedIn, if you're in the B2B space, then obviously you've got articles and posts, and you can post videos up there as well. And we've found, for example, sometimes within the first couple of days of posting a video up there, we get sort of 2,000 views, which is important. But I know you make a big thing about this, Al, and obviously you're a lot more experienced than I am on this because it's your specialism. But the big thing is to use the LinkedIn platform when uploading videos, because they actually prioritize. They see YouTube as being a competitor. So it's better to actually load your video up onto LinkedIn because you get higher rankings. And interesting enough, with all of this good stuff, the important thing is everything's underpinning each other. For the campaigns we suggest, it's not vital you do any of this stuff, but what it will do is build up massively your credibility and also accelerates the relationship with trust, which is something else we talk about in other video series.
Yes, I suppose with all of this stuff, it's all about actually trying to present yourself as the expert in this space. The videos itself, I mean, obviously this comes down to the quality of the content you're putting out. That just because you're producing videos doesn't mean you're seen as an expert. If you're putting out, dare I say it, but crap stuff, if you're putting out stuff that was outdated 5 years ago and you're trying to produce that now, especially in this kind of marketing, sales, growth kind of arena, it's a very, very competitive market, constantly moving. You need to be putting out there up-to-date stuff. You need to be putting out there knowledge that's great. Now, at the same time, we've already said it, bear in mind something that a lot of the stuff that we're producing these days is very fluctuated. There's a lot of competition out there now, especially in the marketing, sales, kind of growth space. So you need to be either very, very original with your content, or you need to stand out in a certain way. And this is why things like the snowball effect, this is why building people's trust and being constant in their faces and constantly producing content is so important.
Quite.
In terms of this as well, and to maybe finish this off, for people implementing things like we're talking about now, what's the result of it?
Well, the result
I suppose it's growth, right?
Well, yeah, quite. And again, if you play for the long game with this and you follow the proper 6-step process that we recommend, you will typically generate from 100 cold leads in your chosen target market. You will turn those into between 8 and 13 hot prospects. And
just touch on that. What do you mean by hot prospects? Because obviously people watching may have a very different definition of that. What do you mean by hot prospects?
Yeah, and that's a great question, because remember what we were saying earlier on, a click is just a click. There's no more than that.
Yeah.
What we regard a hot prospect as being is someone who's either asking for more information, or to have a sales-based conversation. So let's just pick up on, that's crucial.
Yeah, what we say of all of our processes is that we don't just find the right leads and nurture them to the point where they might know what our clients are talking about. When we deliver hot prospects to our clients, these are people that have not only been identified as their ideal target market, but have been nurtured to the point where they're actually saying, I understand what you do, I'd love to have a further conversation, or actually a sales-based conversation. So that's our definition of hot prospect, but that's probably a good way to finish this video off, right?
Yeah, that's right. So the bottom line is 2 things if you're going to do any form of campaign, especially on LinkedIn or some of the more social media platforms, is first of all, play for the long game, focus on, think of the snowball, the compounding effect that actually has, and don't quit too early. If you quit too early, either you're going to blow yourself up from getting that piece of business, or worse still, you're actually giving the business to your competition.
Cool, man. Thank you so much for watching. As we've said halfway through the video, we have got a free webinar. The subscribe and secure your seat options will be just below this. Thank you so much for watching this one. If you've seen some value in it, jump on the free webinar and we'll see you on the other side. I'm Alex and this is Rupert.
Lovely. Thank you.
Cheers.